So this is lesson 8, can we control population size? So for this you'll be looking again more at the kind of population pyramids, and you'll also be looking at the demographic transition model. So you'll be looking at both of those. You might have to look back at some previous work. To start, you're going to do a starter quiz, which is attached to the assignment on a different document. Take you about maybe 3 minutes to complete. You just choose the answer you think is correct. So you can pause here while you do that. So here are the answers. You can give yourself a mark out of 7. You can pause here to look at the answers and to mark your own work. So just to remind you about population pyramids, they are basically showing you what percentage of the population is male and female and in what age cohort, so what age group. So there's a few questions here to answer about describing the shape of the pyramid. What evidence does it show to suggest the birth rate is low? Comparing the female and male percentages and why they might differ. You can pause the video here and it will probably take you about 6 minutes to complete. So you can pause here to read through. So what this is basically summarizing is you can have an underpopulated population. So if you have a smaller population and it's underpopulated, it's basically saying that you might not have enough people to build and produce things, so you can't make as much money. You know, if you don't have enough people to work in a factory to build something like cars or you know, building materials or anything like that, then you can't gain money from it because you won't be able to produce it as quickly and as easily. You can again pause here just to read through this. So this one is talking about the opposite. It's about overpopulation, when you have too many people. So this is when you don't actually have enough resources to maintain that population and keep a good standard of living. So some people might not have enough food, or there might not be enough jobs or something like that. So it means that some people in that country are going to be lacking what is seen as a good kind of reasonable standard of living. Going to the next slide. So note down these two keywords, so overpopulation and underpopulation, and answer the question, what problems can each cause for the country? So pause here and answer the question. It will take you probably, 2 minutes to write down the definitions and another 2 to answer the question. So this is an activity where you are going to watch the video. I've put the link for the video on your assignment in the instructions, and you'll also be looking at an article, which is on the next slide, and a poster, which was also in the next slide. Once you've looked at the article and looked at the poster and watched the video, you can then answer the questions. So you're basically looking at Russia and you're looking at what kind of problems it's facing with its population, how they're trying to solve those issues, and also just some questions about the actual resources themselves. There's one asking about the poster. Obviously you can take as much time as you want and watch the video as many times as you want, but the questions will probably take you about 10 minutes or probably 10 to 12 minutes to answer. So pause here you will see that this is one of the pieces of information from the previous question, and this is the poster that's also related to the previous question. This is now looking back at a few lessons ago when you were looking at demographic transition models and you're trying to decide which stage you think Russia is in. So just to quickly go over them again, but obviously you can go back over the previous lesson or any work you've done. When you're looking at stage 1, this is basically when it's a very basic kind of society. You probably don't have as much medicine, you don't have advanced technology, hospitals aren't really there, or if any medical attention is there, it's not to the standard that is kind of normal for this day and age. And because of that, you're going to have a lower population and your birth and death rate are quite high, but also relatively the same. In 2, early expanding, this is when you see the death rate fall, but the birth rate is still high. This is because you're getting improved medicine, you're also getting improved agriculture, so farming techniques, so less people are dying, so your death is going down, and because less people are dying, your population starts to increase. Number 3, you can see the death is still decreasing a bit, but it's starting to kind of go a bit more flat, but you see your birth rate is decreasing. So this could be that there's a change in women in society and they are not wanting to have as many kids, or they're waiting to have kids and putting things like careers first. Then you've got number 4, where you can see that the population is very, very high and it's almost going flat at the top, and you can see your birth rate and death rate are very low, and they're almost the same as it comes towards the end. So this is more, you've got very good healthcare, but also you've got the same thing of, people maybe not choosing to have children or as many children, so those are quite close. And then you've got 5, which is in decline. That is when your death rate and birth rate kind of switch. So your birth rate actually and death rate kind of show that the death rate is going down and the birth rate is kind of staying stable, or it could be going down as well, and you're getting a natural decrease, and also your population starts to decrease. So looking at all of those 5, write down which one you think Russia is in and give a justification. It should take you about 3 minutes or 4 minutes. You can pause here. Okay, this activity, you're going to be looking at an article and a poster, which will be on the next slides, and you're just going to look at those and you're going to answer the questions, and these ones are now about China and specifically about the one-child policy. So China had a one-child policy, which meant that people could only have one child. They weren't allowed to have more than one, otherwise there'd be sort of fines or other things kind of to deter them from doing it, and this was to try and kind of reduce that. You can pause here, and this will probably take you probably about 10 minutes if you're also looking at the article and the poster. Here's the article for China, and here's the poster for China. This is the last activity on can we control population size, and this one is just looking at China's population, and we're looking at population pyramids from 1950, 2015 and 2050, which is a prediction as it's 2050 has not happened yet. So it's what they assume it will be. You need to just look at these pyramids and just look at them and see how they're different and answer the questions. This will probably take you sort of 6 to 8 minutes to do. This is the last task. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can obviously leave comments on the assignment, and then someone will be there to help you. I hope you enjoyed the lesson.